Well,
Welcome to Boomer Live once again, ladies and gentlemen. Sandeepan has just joined the stream, but we were just vibing to the El Nagin Derby, which just got over Sri Lanka, who takes upper hand once again in the El Nagin Derby. I made the name. They should actually
yeah,
give me the credit for this. ICC was named El Clasico. This is the real El Nagin Derby. Of course, as you heard, we are vibing to the song as well
yeah.
as we just got along when you move for it. How was it?
I love it. I love it. I think you're probably doing it slightly better than the Bangladeshis themselves, but
Yeah.
what a match! I mean, you would have to say that it seemed like it was going to be another Nagin dance day,
Sandeepani
but
seems really disappointed. I don't know why.
I think it's more to do with the fact that Gunatilka is not playing today. He expected Gunatilka to be the one to score the winning runs.
No, I
Yeah.
think it was. I would have been really excited if it would have been a close contest, but the way it ended, I think there was nothing. I mean, the teams did not give us anything to cheer about today. I mean, if you are a Sri Lankan fan,
Yeah.
obviously yes, but as a cricket fan, I think there was nothing much to cheer about or have that Nagin dance about.
Yeah, I agree to you. Agree to you on that fact as well. El Nagino was disappointing today,
Yeah.
but let's just enjoy El Nagino. Nagino, 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 Nagino. It was actually fun. Loved the El Nagino despite what happens, but this is going to be the pitch which India and Pakistan will be playing on. So I'm
Absolutely.
pretty taken aback with that pitch. It had everything in it: all swing, seam, bounce, spin, decent batting as well. If you're ready to apply yourself. But it really shows it is not going to be a high scoring Asia
No,
Cup.
it kind of seemed like one of those DJ consoles where they're like the bass, they're like maybe someone controlling the spin to be a little higher and then
Yeah.
suddenly it reduces, or the bounce suddenly was high. I remember one ball from in Matisha Patirana which dismissed Mushfiqur Rahim. I mean, and then right after that, you saw, I think the next ball he balled to Mehdi Hassan, I think. He tried to ball a slower delivery and that did not even reach to the top of the stumps.
Yeah.
And it was a very topsy turvy pitch, but it's scary. It was very scary, especially the start of Bangladesh's innings because there was a breeze blowing and then the pitch was already turning. So it was all of a sudden when you had Dhananjay De Silva bowling from one end,
Yeah.
and then you had Rajita bowling from the other end, and both of them were equally potent. So it is a scary pitch to bat on for sure.
Absolutely. And that's why I personally think it was a good game of cricket in terms of application of technique. You were tested and you saw the real people with his stomach. And I was waiting for the great sarcastic dude Abel. He's completely able to make us laugh out loud. Thank you so much, man. I mean, we are here to be talking about the greatest game of cricket here, the greatest two rivals. For me, I think Ashes should be really taken away. Ashes, India, Pakistan. I would pay my money if Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are playing in India.
Yeah,
When
I
are the
mean-
tickets available? Which ground is it going to be? I will travel, bro.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed though. I genuinely felt the lack of Nagin dance.
Yeah.
I really expected at least one of those.
It goes like
players
this.
to- Yeah, it was like.
Yeah. So
I
guys,
expected
like,
so
if
much.
you are willing to join us for a boomer meet and greet, let's go for Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka. It is the real rivalry in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sandeepani will say, I will say, because I remember this Netherhas Trophy game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, damn, these guys are
I
the
mean-
real G's of rivalries. I mean, look at that passion.
Yeah.
India, Australia, chill, hello, hi mate, how are you doing? Pakistan is like bye bye, hum Baijan.
The
And look at
best
other
part
people.
about it.
Yeah.
The best part about it is like best rivals
Yeah.
hate the opposition regardless of the opposition they play.
Yeah.
Like when Madrid plays Barcelona, Madrid fans don't want Barca to win.
Yeah.
Or rather, if Barca plays Getafe or some other team.
Yeah.
In the same way, how if Sri Lankan fans are there and India is playing Bangladesh, they support India.
Yeah.
Regardless, and we saw that in the Netherlands Trophy as well. Sri Lankan celebrated India's win over Bangladesh.
They don't even
more.
share borders. No, that's
Yeah.
the worst part. It's okay if India and Pakistan was there. They share borders, India and Bangladesh. I can say that. But Sandeepani, let's talk about the game. Let's be a little serious now. Let's not be sarcastic. How great was that batting performance by Bangladesh? It was very classy to start off with. Some really application of technique. Shakib Al Hasan looked good. Naeem, he looked good. Shanto, that's his name. He keeps changing his name, man. I really can't say one thing about Bangladesh players. They keep changing their name every series. Tell me, I don't even know. one guy is Naeem. Last time it was Nayeem. Now he's Nim. Then
I
Shakib
mean,
is Sakib. It became Shkiv.
Mehdi Hassan Miraz. Then it was
Madison
Hassan
Miraj.
Miraz.
Hassan Miraj. I have no idea what's happening there. But either way, Sandeep, you tell me how good was
You gotta feel
Bangladesh?
bad.
Actually, you had Mehdi Hassan and Mehdi Hassan Miraj.
Are they the same?
Yeah,
Are they one?
They're two
I think
different.
there is. I'm facing
Like,
some
do
sort
you
of
think it's
a network
possible
issue
that one person
where
comes
I think
changing
I'm
the
getting a bit of
jerseys?
a lag.
Yeah, I think. Are you able to hear us now?
Yeah, I think it's better now. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think it's the
yeah, I
rain,
think
bro. It's the
it's
rain.
a
It's the
new.
rain.
Yeah, I mean, Sandimani, my question to you
Yeah,
was: do
it's
you
the rain.
think
Definitely,
Mehdi
it's the
Hassan
rain.
and Mehdi Hassan are the same person who come changing their jerseys?
And it's very confusing because I get the feeling that commentators have a differentiator with adding the name Miraj after Mehdi Hassan. There is a Mehdi Hassan Miraj and a Mehdi Hassan, but both of them plays the T20I format. Both of them play the ODI format. Now it gets very difficult to distinguish between the two. But
Yeah.
talking about Bangladesh's batting performance today, I think Najmul Hussain Santo, I think that is how you will pronounce it. I
Yeah,
think
you're right. Finally
that's the
pronounced
only
what
player.
it's mean.
Yeah, I think that's the only player that got going and put up some sort of respectability to the total. But the way he
Yeah,
played, I think it was more of a test inning because they were losing wickets at regular intervals from the other end. But to be fair to them, the team that had danced Nagin, I mean, they who had gone after the Sri Lankan fans and did the Nagin dance. You only have Shakib Al Hasan and Mushfiqur Rahim playing 5 years later in this tournament. All the players
yeah,
are almost changed, especially in the batting lineup. So you can't really.
Yeah.
It's a team going through transition, and I think Bangladesh will have to be very careful because the time that they chose to get this transition done. Because I feel players like Mahmudullah, Shakib Al Hasan, Mushfiqur Rahim, Mahmudullah, if he was fit, that is, they could have really gone on till the ODI World Cup, and after this, they could have gone for the transition. But you can clearly
yeah.
see that players like Naeem and Santo, they are getting the push. So that's a surprise take for me from this Bangladeshi side because I felt unless they become the Bangladeshi side World Cup side of the World Cup 2007 where they really came out all guns
Yeah.
blazing, but that is going to be very difficult to replicate in 2023. So I am very surprised with that choice, and also the team going through transition, they are bound to fail. Having said that, I think they had no answer for Thikshana and Pathirana. I think these two Chennai
Yeah.
Super Kings lads have really did really turn the screws on Bangladesh today.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you because it's the Chennai blood, and that's why I've decided for RCB because,
Yeah,
whatever
I
you
mean, for
say,
some reason,
I
I
won't give
look
them
like I'm
credit.
dressed up for RCB as well. Yeah, but let's just, I mean,
I think it's Sandeep was facing the issue. Now we understood. Hum to dar gaye the. It was us
we
trying to
were
switch off the
checking,
Wi-Fi. I was really
we were
scared.
checking on YouTube,
See,
we were checking
Bangalore Wi-Fi
everywhere.
doesn't really cheat, you guys. Bangalore is really good. See, Bangalore.
Isn't he also in Bangalore?
No, he's not a Bangalore. That's it.
Okay.
So either way, I'm so sorry if taking a dig at anyone. But yeah, talking about which, I think Bangladesh really faced starting trouble, and through
Yeah.
the middle it was tough. I personally think Mahesh Patirana is really showing his repertoire of variations. I don't know if it's the IPL. I don't know if it's him going to the one-day cricket and really doing well under Sri Lankan cricket boards.
I think it's also able that the current crop of Bangladesh players have never faced anything like him because I mean let's be honest, how many bowlers have you seen who ball like that? There's only been one before, and that was Malinga. So I think that's one reason that I felt because it did seem like when he balled in front, it just seemed like they were having difficulty reading the
Yeah.
length because when he was balling those Yorker lengths, those full length deliveries, it seemed like they were getting stuck in the crease, and when they were balling those full length deliveries
Yeah.
it seemed like they were too far ahead and they're already
Yeah.
taken that stride ahead. So I think that was a major issue, and I genuinely also think batting against the new ball in this pitch was a tough one. Sri Lanka too suffered, struggled with
Yeah.
against the new ball. Bangladesh did too. But the only difference I would have to say between the two teams was only one man, and that had to be the guy who scored the highest run. That was Samara Vikrama, because that slide that was happening for Sri Lanka, where the slide that was happening for Sri Lanka at that point in time, where they were losing wickets quickly, they had some bad shot selection, bad application of the mind. You saw Samar Vikrama and Asalanka coming together and doing a very good job, and both of them have done well in the LPL as well, or the Lanka Premier League. So that really came out as well. That experience of playing in these conditions.
I personally think it is, Sandiman is back again. The way in which Bangladesh started off as well was pretty impressive. If you look to, if they would have gone close to 210, 220, I think that was a winning total. Now that should be kept in mind when India take on Pakistan day after tomorrow. I know
Yeah.
Asia Cup is about a lot more teams, but we like the PR, TRPs, so we like to plug in the big contest day after tomorrow. Rohit
Guys.
Sharma take on Babar Asam, Badshah Babar in the Asia Cup. It's gonna happen in Kandy. It is 2-2 since the last four meetings. Will Super V score with bat? Orvin Shaheen pick up wicket in the first over.
But before that, we have to talk about how Virat Kohli spent his time in the hotel room playing chess with Yuzvendra Chahal on video call on Google Chrome. Google Meet, explaining to him why he was not selected
Yeah, follow the blacks.
for the Blacks.
But either way, uh, but
Also, let's talk about the theatre award ceremony.
let's not go into that. But we are here to talk about Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. We really respect all the oppositions.
Yeah.
So, anybody, I was just wondering about how Bangladesh could have done a lot better because Lytton Das injury is something which they don't anticipate happening.
Yeah.
Tamim Iqbal ruling out was a big blow as well. Now, if you look at this team, if you take out a Shakib in the middle order alongside Mushfiqur, this team has a huge dent in the middle order. You saw that today. Shanto up top, he's done well. Even in that T20 World Cup, he is looking good. He looked good on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
But other than that, they really do not
But
have
then-
experience. Just anybody can answer that. Maybe.
Oh, I'll wait. Sandivani, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly why I was coming to the point that this team looks like a team that is going through transition, because if you just take out Shakib Al Hasan and Mushfiqur Rahim from that batting order, all the other players are relatively new and haven't played for many years. And also most of the players like Shanto, Naeem, they basically feature more in the test team. Same is the case with the Sri Lankan batting order as well. I feel players like Karunaratne, Samara Vikrama had a very good LPL, but players like that really, they've excel more in the test format. They have played for Sri Lanka in the test format more often than they have represented the team in limited overs. And I think Bangladesh, with so many injuries and Lipton Das finally being ruled out, they don't really have too many choices in that middle order which they can really replace. On my mind is the another player who was playing in the emerging trophy. I don't know why Soumya Sarkar is not no longer in the Bangladesh playing 11, because I think
Soumya
you
Sarkar,
have to
I remember in
get in
2015,
the
Soumya Sarkar was added as Fab Four. It was Joe Root, Steve Smith, Soumya Sarkar, and
When was
it
this?
was 2015 when Soumya Sarkar scored like a couple of hundreds in one-day cricket, and Virat Kohli was really struggling in that phase. And they added Soumya Sarkar and Fab Four. Since then, he has never been.
Who are they? Who are they?
They're the same people who cut Dhoni's head and held with Tuscan Ahmed. Remember
he
this?
he has really seen his career trajectory take a huge U-turn from being one of the best emerging players
Batted to death
in
baller.
Bangladesh. He's still
I
been the
think
emerging
from
player
a
in Bangladesh
star-
for the next 8
Yeah,
years.
I think from a star has become a shooting star.
Yeah, he's a star. He's a twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder where you are.
Yeah.
That's it. He's where. I have no idea. He's not playing emerging Asia Cup.
But I
He's
think
talking about it.
having said all that, I think Bangladesh really had the opportunity to get one over Sri Lanka at 43 for 3 with some of the shots that the Sri Lankan batsmen played, and if they could have really get one wicket here and there in that middle order, if Samara Vikrama and Charita Salanka wouldn't have been able to stitch that 80 runs partnership, I think if it would have been ended for another 40-50 runs even, then I think the game would have been very, very close, because we have seen how these sort of tricky pitches in Palekele can play out and be really, really low scoring games. Having said that, I don't
just
necessarily
talking about
feel
Samara
the
Vikram
team
as well, as
batting
you
first.
mentioned. This lad has played 100 first class games. He's a listed average of close to 30. Maybe not the best striker. I think playing 100 first class games in conditions like this, and Sri Lanka playing, Teju has a very good point that a team which can spoil the party. Last year, we were sitting here, same time, we were like India Pakistan final. And who played the final? It was Sri Lanka. And who was the defending champion? Sri Lanka. I've always mentioned this. Sri Lanka in adversity is the most dangerous team. They have no Hasaranga, they have no Chamira, they have no one. But then they tend to bring these people who can step up in these situations.
I think that's also the credit has to go to Dasan Shanaka, because I'm not saying that he's. I'm not gonna
Best
say
captain
that.
in the world.
No, I think he potentially is one of the best captains in the world. I mean, he's very underrated as a player. Yeah, I think Teju's found out the whereabouts of Soumya Sarkar.
Yeah.
I think it's.
So, wait, Teju. Soumya Sarkar is still under 23 according to many.
But
He was
also, I
there
think
under 23. He's still under 20.
I think he's in the Fab Four of under 23.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not kidding. Some of the under 23 teams had more experience than the teams playing in Asia Cup. But nonetheless.
But yeah, I mean, just going ahead, talking about Dasun Chanaka, I think one thing that is really instilled in this team is a belief that they can come back from any point in time, or at least that they can beat any side on their day.
Yeah.
And today as well, right? I think the difference that I really felt between the Lankan innings and the Bangladeshi innings was the fact that the Lankan batters were able to take singles at will, but Bangladeshi batters really were caged in and they had no way to go. And at a point in time, it did seem like Shanto did not realize that he's playing in green jersey today, and he was playing in white jersey for most of that.
I can't blame him because he was finding very difficult. He had no one to support. Salim will ask you this question as well. He says, I'll just take a few questions. This basically speaks about the finals. Yeah, understood that. Couple says now the only concern is whether shouldn't become a. Well, I'll tell you something very interesting. So India was offered venues like Dambula, Gaul, and some other place where there was no much rain. India was like, we're not playing there. We want to play this particular ground. So Indians are the ones who have chosen this particular ground, Palikale, because of their own whims and fancies. I have no idea why. They believe they like the higher top. They don't like to play in the sea region because the ball swings a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it did swing today.
It did swing today in high. By the way, the altitude is much higher in Kandy than India. So their geographical coach or whoever is science expert in that Indian team should really have a concern.
Do you guys reckon there's a good vada pav stall nearby?
No, they don't sell vada pav in Sri Lanka. They only sell crab curries. But either way, Sandimani, just coming back to you.
Well, I don't know how
this,
much the weather will play a spoil sport on the second, but I think weather is really playing a villain today because I'm facing a lot of difficulties.
Yeah, that's why I didn't ask you this question. We'll go to that particular facet later. We'll go to India, Pakistan because that is the main part of the show. Doesn't matter even what has been talked. IPL will be spoken about. Super V. We'll talk about Super V, Sultan Babar, and Rohit Hitman Sharma with Prince Gill and Jasprit Bumrah. Bumrah is all back in action on Friday. We'll talk about that. But before that, we will on Saturday. Sorry. But before that, you reckon Sri Lanka and Bangladesh could possibly come to final? Either of them. I know Bangladesh lost today. Sri Lanka won. But they could possibly be the party spoiler for the year. Because considering the Sri Lanka's home ground, considering they have the spin attack, considering the fact that their batters are much more equipped to play spin than both India and Pakistan.
No, I don't think so. That is going to be likely because I feel both Pakistan and India are going to be strong favorites against Sri Lanka when they play them in the Super Fours finally. But the thing right now, the concern for me for this Sri Lankan team is, as I said, in the batting lineup, you have players like Dimut Karunaratne and Samara Vikrama who are more accustomed to playing in the shorter format. If you have low scoring games, it won't be a cause of concern. But if either of Pakistan or India go on to score well in excess of 200 or 250, I think the Sri Lankan team is going to struggle chasing. And also, having said that, I don't think that they have a...
Tissues कहाँ मिलेगा? मतलब tissues मिलते हैं? Sandimani, how much are you selling tissues for? I think Sandimani tissues नहीं है Sandimani के पास.
Sandimani is looking for tissues.
No, I think it's good. It's good. Aisha actually mentioned कि रोने के लिए टिश्यू because I was just wondering टिश्यू किसके लिए किस चीज के लिए चाहिए होगा 2 सितंबर को, but then it's fine. I don't think India would need a lot of tissues even if they lose them against Pakistan because that is not going to be the end of the world for them because Super Fours definitely India is going to make it after the performance we saw.
Aisha, let me tell you one thing.
Yeah, I think
the best team in the world. No, Aisha, by the way, I really do accept it. We are telling you Pakistan is the best team in the world and literally, I'm scared for the game. I'm literally scared.
Looking at today's pitch, I'm genuinely scared.
I'm genuinely scared because Sultan Babar, crazy player, world's #1 batter. We are nowhere there in top 5. Like you're the world's best team. So we are the underdogs going into the game, and we do not have an ICC trophy for the last 10 years. You have an ICC trophy in the last 5 years, and you have won almost every conditions. In tough conditions where the ball is swung in Multan, in Karachi, in Lahore, these conditions you've been dominating one of the best bowling attacks, like of Adam Milne, likes of Tuckner, and who else?
Not Williamson for sure.
Williamson, okay, whoever. They've been dominating They've been dominating good bowling attacks in tough conditions like Rawalpindi, Lahore, and even if you look at across the world as well, they went to
I mean, you
Malahide,
remember that
they went to
match?
Malahide, they went to somewhere else as well.
You remember that match we watched where Babar Azam and co smashed Mahmood all around the
Yeah,
park.
yeah, absolutely.
Bowling at 150, he was going back at 160, 170 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, it was very scary for me, and I'm telling you, they are the World Cup finalists as well. India are.
Finalists, they already give them the trophy, dude.
I'm talking about the T20 World Cup. See, nobody knows
Oh.
them all. I'm telling you. To be very honest, we over here in Boomer 11 believe that Pakistan are the favorites
To
for
win the World
Asia Cup and World Cup and India match. We'll be very happy if India wins, but we are scared.
Yeah. At this point in time, we are following something very new. We are
Yeah, and also I
expecting-
think I think a thing of encouragement for the Pakistani bowlers will be the fact that today we saw 30 overs of spin from the Bangladeshi contingent, and Dhananjay De Silva also went on to complete his quota of 10 overs in the Sri Lankan innings. So you might
I
as
mean,
well
that's
see
why,
with
Sanjay,
the
I kind of feel
injury
like-
concern in the Pakistan pace bowling lineup.
Yeah, I
Abel
mean-
Rona hai.
The point that I was
I'm
coming to
not
was
kidding. I'm crying already. I'm not kidding. Like last night, I woke up in the middle of the night. I saw Harris Rock running and I was like, what was that all about? Then that commentary was Kohli goes down the ground and out of the ground. That's what was being played. That's what I was scared of.
Anyway, I mean, just coming back to all seriousness, the Pool B side of it, I think that's where I kind of feel bad for Afghanistan. They don't get to play on such pitches. I mean, imagine the Afghanistani trio or the quartet rather now of spinners bowling on this pitch. I think they would have been the table toppers in Pool B, but unfortunately for them, they're going to play both their matches in Lahore, which means flatter tracks.
Yeah.
At least, I mean,
No, tougher tracks.
Tougher
We're talking
tracks.
about Lahore is like way tough.
tougher tracks,
Ball moves.
but not as helpful for spinners.
Yeah, way tough.
So unfortunately for them, that's one disadvantage because I was just going over just going over the schedule and I was like, I just felt at this point in time that if Afghanistan plays in this Pallekele track and you saw how batters from Sri Lanka and Bangladesh couldn't really settle against the quality spin bowling from either side, I was really worried for their batting. But now I think playing in Lahore, they'll be a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The final thoughts on Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh, because for me, I personally think if Sri Lanka's top order starts clicking, Sandeep, what do you reckon about the top order? Because today they did not really click, but if Kushal Mendes or even if the other players, if Nisanka, everybody starts clicking, this becomes a much better team because they have got someone like Shanaka to come and do a job like at least 3 out of 5 occasions.
I think we've
Few
lost.
moments
Yeah, I
later.
think all in all, it was a good start for the Sri Lankan team. It was a very clinical performance against Bangladesh, and I feel going forward after this loss, it is going to be very difficult for Bangladesh to come back and pull one over Afghanistan and qualify to the Super Fours. Because right now, unless I think they replicate what Sri Lanka did after the previous Asia Cup drubbing against Afghanistan that they got in last year. So I think unless that happens, I think Sri Lanka and Afghanistan are going to make go through. We haven't seen how Afghanistan goes, but with whatever performances they put up against Pakistan, they if they can improve their batting by a tad bit, I think they are going to be a team to beat for Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. They are going to be a very tough opposition to crack. And talking about this Sri Lankan team, I think it's still early days, but I feel that they are going to struggle in pitches which are more suited for batters. And if they go and play in Pakistan or some other conditions where there will be some favor to the batters, I think Sri Lanka are going to suffer more.
Yeah, 2nd September मजा आएगा जब वन साइड इंडिया को हरा के पनौती.
See, I think there's a reason. I think she asked a question about why Sandivani is wearing black. There's a very particular reason why Sandivani is not wearing India jersey anymore. We've retired Sandivani from wearing
No,
India
leave
jersey.
all that. I think on 2nd September, I am going to be doing a tissue ending. I'll be exporting it. I think, just on top of India, there's a country just on the left-hand side, just on top. They've been wanting a lot.
Should we buy a
They
TV?
want procurement. Like Islamabad, Karachi.
Should we also buy a TV so we can break one?
Yeah, I'll buy one.
Yeah.
So next, Sandipani, how about we watch the match together? If you're in Bangalore, we'll be screening the match together. Me, Sandipani, Jaren will be joining you live. I don't know, from anywhere in Bangalore. Because whenever I watch a match with Sandipani, his team always
It's on
wins.
Sunday,
True.
Saturday. you never know. I mean, I would rather take a loss on the second than a loss against Pakistan in the Super Fours, because I know they are going to collide
Right.
for the Super Fours as well.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would rather take a win over there. But yeah, if you
Yeah.
guys are free for Saturday, I guess then I can really come back.
ये तो
I can
WhatsApp में नहीं
come
बात
watch
होना
it.
चाहिए ये सब. Either way. But your prediction for Asia Cup final, and hey, you guys told you will reveal your relationship statuses next Asia Cup during last Asia Cup.
Did
Oh,
we?
did we?
No, we said a particular number of
No,
subscribers.
yeah, we not reached that.
That's
But yeah, either
tentative.
way, actually we did next Asia Cup. मेरे को याद है. So, Sanjay, what's your relationship status?
I think it's in love with cricket right now, but the way India is playing, I don't think that it will
Oh,
stay like that
Nice.
for
nice.
too
Well,
long.
boy, buddy, I'm
Probably
right
till
about the
the
feeling.
World Cup.
Yeah, you stole my answer. Thank you.
Either way, I'll just give you a hint. If you want to ride ride on a bike with Sandipani, there is a pinion there. If you want to ride on a bike with me, there's a pinion there. Jaren's bike is not empty. You can
Because
ride.
Jaren doesn't have a bike.
Yeah, Jaren's bike is empty. You can ride with him. So that's what I'm. That's the indication. There's a pinion spot.
Sandipani also does not have a bike.
Sandeep, I mean, I don't have a bike. I'm just giving you a reference. Like, you guys are very bad, man. You guys do not know how to answer stuff. But either way,
We take your answer. Yeah. Thank you for saying this unsolicited.
but aren't we getting too distracted? Let's get back to cricket.
Yeah, and I
Finally,
think Abel really pushes this false narrative where he actually pushes what he wants the audience to know.
No, I think this time he was pretty truthful, wasn't he?
yeah, I was very truthful.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sandeep is blushing. I don't know why. But either way,
He's thinking about his pillion.
yeah, either way. But we can talk about what we have in our hand, which is this pitch, and India versus Pakistan. That is the next game which we have in hand.
Super
I
good.
personally think Super V and Sultan Babur coming up against each other. This is a mouth-watering contest.
Yeah.
It is in Pali Kele in Kandy. What do you think Sandipani is going to be a good target there? I personally think 245 to 260 batting first is a winning score because of what I saw. And with the rain around, I don't know if you are as a bowling team, you don't want to just chase with the rain around, but I still think it's a dangerous option because if you are an Indian team, you don't want to go be chasing against a Pakistan team where the ball be stopping and where Haris Rauf, Shaheen, and Nasim will be in full flow.
Yeah. If they are fit.
Exactly. I think not even 240 to 260. I think anything in excess of 220 is going to be very, very difficult to chase, no matter which team bats second. But I would really back, and it brings me to this very exciting question, because you saw 30 overs of spin from Bangladesh. You saw around 25 to 30 overs of spin from Sri Lanka as well. So now I don't know. Akshar Patel might be a good call over
Yeah.
Shardul Thakur for tomorrow's game as well.
Not a bad idea.
Day after tomorrow's game.
Because with that also gives India the leverage to have three left-handers in top 8 with Akshar, Jadeja, and Ishan Kishan is most probably going to bat in number 5 from whatever reports we're getting.
Yeah.
So you can send out an Ishan or a Jadeja or an Akshar to counter Nawaz and Shadab. In that case, I don't think they have an off-spin other than Iftikhar. So in that particular case, Jaren, your thoughts as well, because now Indian team watching this game is all of a sudden like, wait a moment, Akshar Patel in the mix straight away, and we'll see how it goes. I know Pakistanis play spin well,
Yeah.
but it's still a better option than Shardul Thakur in that wicket.
I think one thing for sure that I noticed today was the fact that you cannot be, scoring. You cannot really stagnate your scoring. That's the one sin I would say that Bangladesh did. That's the one issue that even I felt Pakistan faced against Nepal initially. When Babar and I think Rizwan, it was when they were stitching their partnership, you felt like they were going a tad a bit too slow against the likes of a team like Nepal when you're playing at home. Now I hope against India they become a little bit more proactive. Because when Sri Lanka came to play, one thing that they did right was that someone like Pathum Nishanka did not stay his blade just because the ball was moving around. He was going after the bowling. I know he went playing a very false shot, but his idea, his intention was aggressive, and I think that did not really allow the Bangladeshi bowlers to settle down. And you saw the moment he was dismissed, that's when Bangladesh bowlers really got on top of Sri Lanka. So that's the one area that Pakistan will be slightly worried about.
Yeah.
If Indian batters, especially if Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill, can get going in the natural style of play, that can be a bit dangerous for them. But otherwise, if you can quiet the Indian batters down like they did in the Champions Trophy final,
Yeah.
maybe then I will be worried, because in a low-scoring game, I'll always back Pakistan because of the kind of strengths that they have.
Yeah.
They're bowling-based team. They're a bowling stronger team, and their bowlers are extremely skillful in these kind of conditions. So if it is a 220, 230, like we're expecting it to be, I think Pakistan have that upper edge going into this game.
Absolutely, I agree with you totally on that. And who's going to be India's number four? I think it's going to be Shreyas Iyer without a doubt. Sanima, you've got any other person? Do you prefer Sky? Because if it's going to turn, if you want someone to play aggressively, Sky is not a bad option. Meanwhile, Shreyas Iyer is one of the best players to spin in our team as well.
No, I
Yeah.
So,
think
go on.
I think for I want in my playing 11, and I think Shreyas Iyer makes it
Obviously,
for
because
me,
Kolkata Knight Riders captain.
especially because he's back after the injury. And I think at number 4, I would rather have Ishan Kishan at number 4, because you don't want to have number 5, number 7, number 8 as your left-handers. If you have a left-hander, just float one. Get Ishan Kishan at number 4. Shreyas Iyer can
Yeah.
come in at 5, and then depending on situation, Hardik Pandya and Jadeja. I mean 6, 7, whatever you want them to come at, and then you have
I
Akshar
think
Patel at 8.
now looking at Indian team, if Ishan Kishan, if he can deliver with the bat at number four, it gives India a very different balance.
But
I'll tell you why. Because especially against a team like Pakistan, where they have a left arm and a leg spinner, and if Ishan Kishan can go out there and play a cameo, 45 runs, 50 runs in that kind of a wicket, taking on the left arm spinner and the leg spinner, that gives India a huge different look, and that's exactly what India will be preparing for. India
also,
will be
I
ready
mean,
for that.
just thinking about the fact that if Ishan Kishan can get after the spinners, then what will probably also happen is that then Babar Azam will be forced to bring on his fast bowlers in the middle overs where he won't be comfortable doing it. Like his ideal option probably would be to ball one of the spinners. That's either Shadab or I mean who's the other guy?
Nawaz.
Nawaz, yeah, correct.
Mohammad Nawaz.
So either Shadab or Nawaz, and on the other end, one of the fast bowlers. But if India goes after the bowling or India goes after the spinners, he'll be forced to bring in Shaheen or Harris Roth and Naseem together.
Yeah.
And that will allow India in many ways to get that strategical advantage towards the end innings when again the spinners will have to come and bowl. Because if you look at this whole Asia Cup, if there's one team that has lack of bowling options, that's Pakistan.
Yeah.
So you have to, even against Nepal, you felt like if Nepali batters had gone on for a slight longer time, the Nepalese batters had gone on for a slight longer time, you would have felt that it would have been that much more tougher for Power, because at that point in time it felt like he was running out of options.
Either way, but just talking about which, I also felt like Babar Azam against India, he likes to over attack. If you notice, even that World Cup, Asia Cup, he's always attacked front with the pacers and he's left the spinners towards the end. And I won't be surprised if he does the same again, considering the fact that you would want to pick up wickets with the fast bowlers and make sure India's batting is worn out by the time it happens. For me, if I have to pick one player of the match, or if I have to pick one player to watch out for from one team each, for India it's going to be Kuldeep Yadav. Nobody's talking about him.
Yeah.
I think Kuldeep Yadav is going to be the go-to player. What do you think, Sandeep? Kuldeep Yadav on a turning wicket against Pakistani batters, he's good against right-handers and left-handers. He's got the mystery element about him. With the bigger boundaries, how big a factor is he going to be? And he has the upper hand over Babar Azam on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I think not just Babar Azam, I think Fakhar Zaman would also be very afraid to face him. If he survives the opening spell from Bumrah, which is going to be difficult altogether. But having said that, I think Kuldeep Yadav is going to be very, very important for India. A lot of people are not talking about Kuldeep Yadav because they haven't seen Kuldeep Yadav play in ICC. Bilateral tournament. I mean, he has played a lot of bilateral series, but he hasn't played a lot of multinational tournaments like the Asia Cup or World Cup. It was probably just the 2019 World Cup that he got to play. And other than that,
last time India won a multinational tournament, it was Kuldeep Yadav who was one of the prime wicket takers alongside Chahal as well in the 2018 Asia Cup I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I think Kuldeep Yadav is going to be very, very crucial, especially because now India will also have the luxury of bowling a Jadeja or a Akshar Patel, who will take the ball away from the right-handers. So Kuldeep Yadav will be very, very a lethal threat for the Pakistani left-hander batters, as well as he has very good record against Babar Azam and the likes of, I think I already spoke about for Zaman in that batting order as well. So I think Kuldeep Yadav is going to be very important. Having said that, I also feel Pakistan does not have that bowling depth, like you mentioned, that Pakistan will probably look to attack, and they have Babar Azam has always looked to over attack India, and probably apart from the game in the Asia Cup where Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul really got India off to a great start and they faltered towards the end, India have always faltered in the early stages. They have collapsed with the bat in the early stages, lost 2 or 3 wickets in the opening spell itself. So if India can somehow tackle that early spell from Sahin Shah Afridi, I think they'll have a smooth sailing and India can just take the game away in the first innings itself. If the bat first and just stay till on the crease, does not lose wicket for the first 15 overs. Because I feel Mohammad Nawaz is not a very good. I will not rate Mohammad Nawaz as one of the best spinners in the world. He is just a spinner who just
Yeah.
comes in, bowls a regular channel, and looks not to give away easy runs. So Shadab Khan
Yeah.
is going to be the attacking option, and I think India will target Mohammad Nawaz as they did in the World Cup as well, T20 World Cup.
I
Yeah.
mean, just speaking about the spinners part of it, I think that's where Kuldeep and Shadab will become very
I think
important for
even
this
more than
team.
Shadab, it's going to be Kuldeep
You
because
know,
Shadab has gone very much
obviously,
defensive in
yeah,
the
and
last 1 year.
I mean, as I was coming to the point as well, Abel, because today what we saw from what I saw, both the teams did not have a leg spinner. But if there's one bowler you can probably equate the closest to a leg spinner was Mahesh Deekshana. And you saw when he bowled those balls that goes away from the batter, I think he bowled a couple, and when he bowled those balls, it just seemed to kick up. And there was a missed stumping from Kushal Mendes as well, where that ball suddenly kicked up, and I think that's where both Kuldeep for sure, because that's the way he bowls. And but if Shadab, if he starts to flight the ball like he used to, if that starts to happen, I think Indian batters will find it tough because if they spin and bounce like we saw today at Paligali, I think that's going to create a lot of issues for the batters facing, especially I think a team like India where you have, I mean, not a team like India, rather a team like Pakistan where their two key batters, that is
Yeah.
Babar and Rizwan, are right-handed
Yeah.
batters. So that's going to be a bigger issue, I would say.
Absolutely. And I personally think as well. That's why I picked Kuldeep as my number one.
Yeah.
If I have to say someone from Pakistan, I would pick just for this reason Iftikhar. Uh, why I say because he's got this ability to come and change a game.
Yeah.
I don't know how effective is he going to be at surface which is going to aid spin. More than Babar, more than anyone, I think it's going to be Iftikhar because if Iftikhar can play a cameo or like a 50 run and if he can come and chip in with the ball a little bit, pick up a wicket here or there, he's going to be very valuable. And at the same time for India, Shubman Gill is massive. This is the first ever time Shubman Gill is going to be against the Pakistan senior team. And we've all spoken about, as Sandeep Mani mentioned, India were always 2 down or 3 down in the power play. That's also the fact that KL Rahul was opening the batting for India. It's no more that KL Rahul is the openers for India. And now KL Rahul, as he's not there, is Shubman Gill, and he's always enjoyed the challenge of facing the best of bowlers. How important is going to be Shubman Gill, Sandeep Mani? Because we've seen that he loves playing against top opposition. He loves the big tournaments. He loves the big occasions, and he's got the technique to play in these kind of occasions as well.
Yeah, the opening partnership is going to be very, very crucial. As I said, if India can somehow not lose a wicket in the first 10 or 15 overs, if both Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill can face the brunt of Sahin Shah Afridi and Nasim Shah early on, I think then the middle order can really reap the rewards and post a score in excess of 250, which is going to be, well, frankly, out of reach for Pakistan if they can stay in the crease. So I think, not lose their wickets in the power play itself. So
Yeah.
both Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma, I think a lot of people are talking about Shubman Gill going to become very important. Yes, very, very important point for Team India will be the how Shubman Gill goes in the 2023 World Cup. Everybody talks about Kohli's trajectory in the 2011 World Cup and how he actually got the exposure coming in at number 4 and really uh, re, uh, grew from strength to strength from then onwards. So I think Shubman Gill is going to be very important for India's World Cup campaign. Having said that, Rohit Sharma is going to be very, very important for India's World Cup campaign because talk about the last World Cup, Rohit Sharma had scored 5 centuries in the last World Cup. So you would want your openers and number 3 to do the bulk of the scoring or at least one of the top 3 to stay in the crease till the 30th or 35th over. That has always been the key to success for Team India. Openers and number 3 stay in the crease, don't lose more than 2 wickets in the first 30 to 35 overs, and then you are likely to post a great total or probably get the chase going in the 45th or 50th over.
Absolutely. I think that's about it from us in terms of today. Tomorrow we'll be coming in detail to talk about this. We'll have a fantasy prediction and whatnot. Playing 11 prediction, talking about Super V and Sultan Babar. and of course, and Shahid Shah Afridi and Jasprit Bumrah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom Boom Bumrah. And of course, Jadeja versus Shadab Khan.
Jaddu.
Jaddu versus
Jaddu.
Shadab Khan. Jaddu ke jadoo ho paega. Pakistan mein kamyab. So that is the thing which we're going to be talking about.
No, I
And
think
we're
you
gonna be
should
talking
compare Jadeja with Iftikhar Ahmed. I think Chacha is a better
Chacha.
yeah,
Chacha
Chacha.
and Jaddu. Chacha and
Jaddu
Jaddu.
versus Chacha. And Kuldeep
Jaddu
versus
versus
Shadab, I
Chacha.
think is a good matchup.
Yeah.
Who's
Fakar
Pakistan
versus
Shehzada?
Hitman.
Who's Pakistan Shehzada? We have viewed the Prince Gill.
Yeah, there is obviously Imam ul Haq. Shehzada.
Shehzada ul Haq.
Yeah. Rizwan versus Shreyas Iyer.
Yeah.
Because Rizwan is the greatest wicket-keeping batter of all time.
So
all
is
agree.
Ishan Kishan. I think it should be
I mean,
Rizwan
no.
was.
I have
Rizwan
to say,
number one.
you guys-
Rizwan is the greatest wicketkeeper batter to have come out from Asia. Tweeted by our great player. What is that guy's name from Sri Lanka again? That journalist?
No idea.
I forgot.
Whoever doesn't say Dhoni is the best, I don't.
It doesn't even care. Dhoni was not even there in this discussion. Rizwan is the greatest batter to have come. Sabka se jao.
No, I think Rizwan versus Ishan Kishan because both of them love to come to bat in the opening stage, and both of them loves to waste the power play in the T20 format. So I think in that aspect, I think Rizwan versus Ishan would be a great matchup.
Yeah.
Sabko zero chil. Oh yeah, if Jaddu can get some people out for duck, great. But either way, Rizwan is the greatest wicketkeeper batter to have come from Asia as per many.
Dhoni.
What are you talking about, Rizwan? That's it. End of discussion. Twitter में आ गया, Twitter ने tweet कर दिया, बस हो गया, discussion हो गया. Rizwan is the greatest batter to have come from Asia. Rizwan is put in the same level as Adam Gilchrist and
Asia, bro.
Asia, bro.
You feel like Sangakkara is second,
Sangakkara was
third.
But I thought
Sangakkara is
I thought
It was Rizwan,
Sanju Samson
Mohit
was the
Khan.
best wicketkeeper batter coming out from Asia. But then since he does not
I-
get a place in the Indian team,
If
I
I'm
hope
to be
that he's
very
going to play
honest,
for Ireland soon. So
Sanju Samson will be captaining Pakistan if he was in Pakistan. Not kidding. But either way.
Why do you have a feeling someone's going to make a
no,
small
I think Sanju Samson can no longer be considered the best wicket-keeping batsman from Asia because soon he is going to leave for either United States or Ireland. Because if you keep on dropping him like this, I don't think he's going to stick longer.
Sandeep Ali is the Fabrizio Romano of
Yeah,
cricket.
Sandeep has reported.
Here we
Sandeep
go.
knows.
Here we
Here we
go.
go. He knows when Mallu population is. He's gonna go there.
Sanju Samson
Sanju
to
Samson to
UAE.
USA, MLC. But either way, I think if Sanju Samson was part of Pakistan, he would have been captaining the team. I'm not kidding.
He would have been compared to Virat Kohli by now.
Yeah, and actually would have got more time in international cricket at least. So that's another thing. But either way, the top three greatest batters, wicketkeeper batters, as per the tweet I saw was from Asia was number one is Rizwan, number two is Mohinka, number three is Sarfraz Ahmed. There's no one. Number four is
Isn't this
Sangakkara.
guy from Sri Lanka?
Yeah,
So number 4 is Sangakkara.
Sangakkara.
I mean,
Why not
Sangakkara
more?
was. I think when he left the keeping gloves is when he. became
No,
a
I
real-
thought Moin Khan should have been in the reckoning.
Mohinka is number two.
Okay,
He's
number
number
two. Yeah, you should
Number
also have Nayan Mungia, who lost that game.
No,
along with
there's no
Puravankar.
Indians
I
in
think
the
he's a
list.
very good call.
There's no Indian. Then there's Marvin Attapatta. No, Karuvatarne. He's number five. He's number five. There's no Indian in the list. Then there's Mushfiqur Rahim at 6.
What about Kamran Akmal? I always thought
Kamran
he was
Akmal is
good.
not there. There is Umar Akmal at number 8.
Kamran Akmal is a
Dhoni
good-
is not there. Top 10 greatest wicketkeeper batters from Asia. There is no Dhoni. And it's okay. Dhoni was a mediocre cricketer as per him. So he's what won one World Cup, one Champions Trophy, one T20 World Cup. That's it.
Let's not.
Sarfraz Khan ने क्या जीता? So ICC Champions Trophy or what is that guy's name? Rizwan.
Dil jeeta.
Rizwan has won so many dil. So that's it. That's it. The show, we can end the show right here on this great note. This great tweet will stay with me forever. I'll tweet
Good night,
that.
guys.
I'll retweet it again and again and again because he has great cricketing knowledge.
Of course.
Rizwan is the greatest wicket-keeping batter because he has scored what 70 against India in T20 World Cup, 153 for no loss. So that really shows. Dhoni has never scored anything of 70 against Pakistan. He has only scored like 140, 150 and all. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's pretty less. Either way, good night all of you. Have a good time. See you all very soon.